Alright, so a couple quick housekeeping things. So June 1st, as I'm getting ready to tell you, ketamine will start officially for post-intubation and pain management. We're going to cover all of that. A couple other things I want to cover real quick. One, chart locking. Okay, our average time to chart lock right now for for Chatham is 8 hours. Okay, policy says 2. Okay, you finish the chart as soon as you're done with the call. It's supposed to be 2 hours. The chart's supposed to be locked. Now, with that being said, if you have multiple calls that you're running, we understand it's going to take long. Okay, but if not, we're going to expect to drop those numbers down significantly. Here's the problem with it, okay, that I don't know, that a lot of you may not understand. If you keep those charts locked, let's say you run a call at 10 o'clock, and you decide, well, I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to finish that before I leave work in the morning. Here's the problem. Pee Wee leaves at 7, Nick leaves at 8. Those charts can't be reviewed. So what happens? They get backfilled and funneled back to the shift that's oncoming. So therefore, like today, let's just say you guys worked yesterday, you got off today. If you didn't finish your charts, it's now Scott and April's responsibility to kind of upkeep them. We're trying to stay up to date and getting these charts done so they're not just sitting there in limbo. So please make sure that you're getting your charts locked in a timely manner. Now, if you have to leave for some reason and you can't finish the chart, the only one that can approve that is your supervisor, who then also has to report it to Tim that a chart's been left completely unlocked. So, those circumstances, obviously, Pee Wee makes those decisions. I don't get into that. Whatever he decides, that's on him. He knows y'all, obviously, better than I do. But, end of the day, get these charts locked so that way Nick and Pee Wee aren't sitting there at 7 o'clock and Nick's not here till 9 trying to get all those charts locked from the day before. Because that'll have to be reviewed. Second thing, on-scene times, guys. Our average on-scene time is 40 minutes. Yes, bad, right? Bad.
But what kind of calls though? Like, are you putting?
It's just in general. I do understand that there's times where it's going to take time. But some of these charts that I'm reading and I'm going back and pulling, we're doing things while still sitting in a driveway at a house that we can do going down the road. Okay?
Yes.
So stop holding yourself up, sitting on scene, doing IVs, giving all these meds. You can do that going down the road. You guys are more than capable of doing that. Okay? So we need to work on our on-scene times. Our average trauma on-scene time is way over 10 minutes. Like I look at it again, it was like 18 or 19 minutes. Now, granted, we've had some traumas where people are pinned in and things like that. Multiple patients that we've had, those are going to extend those some. But we need to stick to that 10-minute on-scene time for trauma, okay? Stroke, STEMIs. One of the other things I'm seeing, chest pains, okay? We're going to do chest pain. If someone's having chest pain, we should be doing a 12 lead before we move them, okay? Things happen from point A to point B, okay? So if any point possible, let's make sure that, I walk in, Pee Wee's having chest pain, I do my 12 lead right here. I don't pick Pee Wee up, walk him to the stretcher, put him on the stretcher, take him out to the truck, fiddle around, and then put a 12 lead on. I don't know what happened from point A to point B. Things can change when you start moving patients around. So be a little bit more cognitive of that. My next goal is fentanyl. That's what I plan on working on next. Along with the other TOs, we mentioned it multiple times. My idea, perfect world, would be to get rid of Dilaudid, add fentanyl, and we'd have morphine, fentanyl, and ketamine. That would be my ideal world. Is Harmony going to go for it? I don't quite know yet. But if anybody remembers ketamine in the beginning, he was completely against. We were not going to have ketamine. He didn't like the idea of ketamine for EMS at first, and he slowly came around to that. So he's able to make, he's making strides and making some changes. We made a whole lot of changes since I've been around doing training stuff with him. Somebody brought up the other day, and I wanted to get y'all's input, and it was our stethoscopes that are in the bags are horrible.
Yes.
Okay.
What, we just gonna figure that out?
No, I'll tell you who it was. Becca texted me at 10 o'clock last night, pretty upset, said, can you do anything about getting us better stethoscopes? So what I'm gonna do is today, I'm gonna get with Pee Wee before he leaves, I'm gonna get with Scott, I'm gonna get with Tim, and we're gonna see if we can't look and get, you're not gonna get Littmans on every truck, but I think we can do a little bit better on putting some better stethoscopes in our
Well,
bags.
yeah, they had an airway.
Cause the ones that we have, I think my
They had
8-year-old
the
can
airway
probably
established.
play with as
No
a toy.
earpieces on it. And no earpieces on it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have anything?
I'm good, this is all you, bro.
Good to go. Alright, any questions on any of that right now? Con Ed that's gonna start upcoming, I'm trying to rent the beach out, trying to get the beach location. And so we can go down there and do some water stuff. I'll go out in like some swimsuits, stuff like that. I'm gonna get Pee Wee to bring his grill out there. You don't know it yet. But we're gonna have like a cookout, hopefully at like one of these beach areas where we can do some water stuff, some fun training, and then we can, you know, now that the weather's getting nice.
All right, old Navy man.
So
We have beverage.
Brush off my speedos.
we can't drink where we're doing that type of stuff. Don't look real good when people come by and we're all drinking, so no. We can have Coca-Cola, or Pepsi, or Mountain Dew.
I'll use my
So those are all kind of stuff. I'm still gonna get with Pittsboro Fire and Moncure Fire. I'm gonna get Pee Wee to help me with this, but we're gonna try to cut up some cars, do some extrication, and I have not forgot about MCI. We are gonna do MCI. We just, with everything that's been going on, we hadn't had a chance, but that's gonna be upcoming Con Ed. From here on out, not a problem with this group, but I told the other group the same thing. Con Ed is gonna be expected that you show up. If you do not show up, I expect you to let your supervisor know you have a pretty good reason why you're not here. One of the big things that I heard from all of our meetings was training, Con Ed. And again, this group's been fantastic about showing up, but it's usually like the same few people that show up elsewhere. So if you want it, you gotta be here for it, because come time for your research, if you do not have enough hours, there's nothing I can do to help you, especially if you haven't been coming. Okay? Have a good day. Alright, so this is only gonna take about 10-15 minutes to go over. We'll cover any questions that you guys have after that, any ideas, anything new you wanna see, and then I'll get you guys out of here. Alright, so ketamine, again, it's not a pilot program anymore, but we still have to follow the protocols. Okay, failure to follow the protocol or give medication outside of this protocol may result in the inability of you to administer ketamine going forward. Basically what this means is if you divert from our protocols for any reason, Dr. Harmony will not allow you to give ketamine anymore. If we continue to do it, we could lose ketamine because it's still new to EMS from the state. Okay,
Is this including with medical controls order?
there it is right there. Yes, sir. There is absolutely no deviation, even with a physician's order. Okay, if they ask you if you have ketamine, if you tell them yes, they tell you to give it for this, you must advise them that per your protocol, you cannot do that. If they have a problem with that, you can let me know and we'll forward them to Dr. Harmony. But he has specifically said that we do not deviate from our protocol. Okay? Reason being is because ketamine is still new to the out of hospital EMS side of things, we're only approved to do what we've been approved to do. Okay? I think as time goes on, it'll be a little bit more free. Alright, so everybody knows pound or penny. Very low doses or very high doses of ketamine can make you see either kittens or dragons. So we try to find that threshold. The dosages that you're gonna see, we've pretty much found that average threshold for people. I've given ketamine several times. I've never had the experience where someone has hallucinated. Let's say that I give someone ketamine for pain and they start freaking out because there's spiders running everywhere. What drug are you going to give them to calm them down? I didn't hear you, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Versed would be your very next go-to drug. If anytime you start to have these hallucinations, these people became anxious, you're not going to repeat that dose of ketamine, you're going to go ahead and give them Versed to calm them back down. Okay? But again, I think those cases are going to be very few far in between. So slow push, at least 1 minute for post-intubation because it could cause apnea. It's okay, should be bagging these patients anyway, but it's something that we need to keep okay. One of the biggest things we got to watch out for, and all of our medics need to make sure we're looking at medications that these patients are on, If a patient's on a long-term use of a vasopressor or any type of high dose of a vasopressor, it has the potential to tank their blood pressure. So say we always don't get to see their medications all the time, you should be asking about any vasopressors if they know what they are. Yes, ma'am.
What are they? Is that dobutamine and stuff?
The butamine, what's another one? Another common one.
What's the pill that they take?
Oh, it's right on the tip of my, hold on. It's gonna come to me.
Hang on, we'll go to.
I can't remember, it's right here.
You don't see it very often.
They're very few far and in between, but
There used to be a guy up the street here on
Mhm.
87 that had a
that's the one that I,
Dobutamine pump.
yeah, the butamine. The butamine I think is probably the most common one that you're probably gonna see, but there's some other ones out there, and I'll send a list out of some vasopressors to keep an eye out on. And I'll see if I can't find like what the common ones are.
See, most of them are wool. I don't know.
But again, say you don't know, you give someone ketamine, bottoms their blood pressure out, you probably can expect they're probably on a vasopressor. Okay, so ketamine is typically a very, very safe drug.
Now, what about if we, I mean, interrupted, what about if we use this post-innovation management on, Ross patient? We've
Fine.
given like 4, 5, 6 EPIs to him.
Absolutely.
Is that, are we still thinking that that might?
Be cautious with it, very slow push, very, very slow push. I may slow it down a little past a minute, so, but just watch it, it should be okay. Alright, so ketamine again is safer than you think. So safe dose for pain is not to exceed 0.2 milligrams per kilogram. Does anybody know what our protocol says?
It's
Point
what
1,
it
point 2, isn't it?
Yes, it's 0.1 to 0.2. Don't use the 0.1, use the 0.2, it's whatever their weight is in pounds. Okay, so if I weigh 200 pounds, I'm only gonna get the max dose of 20 milligrams, which you'll see here in a minute. You can repeat once in 30 minutes, the same dose, you don't have to cut it in half. If we're using it for post-intubation, we do not want to go below the 1 milligram per kilogram. 2 milligrams per kilogram obviously is preferred. Easiest way to do this, again, guess their weight, that's your dose in milligrams. Okay, make it easy on yourself in the math involved. Everybody tracking? All right, dosing. So maximum single IV dose is 6.5 milligrams per kilogram. Maximum single IM dose is 13 milligrams per kilogram. That's just an overview for ketamine. We do not carry enough for you to ever reach the overdose threshold. Okay, we're not going to add a separate vial. You're going to see here that you're going to actually end up wasting a whole lot of ketamine. When you give it for pain, it's fine. Ketamine's cheap. It's like $2 a vial. Okay, it's very, very cheap. All right, dragons or kittens, obviously your preference. So regardless of the dose, obviously hallucinations are real possibility. If you stay below that 0.2 milligram per kilogram or above the 1 milligram per kilogram, obviously hallucinations should be at a minimal or well managed. Again, if somebody's seeing kittens and they're having a good time and they're off and la, let them see the kittens. Let them play with the little furry kittens, it's okay. If they're seeing dragons that are trying to kill them, you may have to give them a little Versed to calm them back down. But obviously, again, Versed is what we're gonna go to and stop the ketamine. Okay, you're gonna see that when we give ketamine for pain, it's gonna be a drip. So all you do, turn it off, give a Versed. All right, real quick touch on excited delirium. 400 milligrams IM, this package 500 milligrams and 5 mLs, concentration is 101. If you're gonna give 2 shots, okay, 2 ml injections. The max you can put in the shoulders is 2, okay? One on one side, one on the other. In the glute, you can put 4. I would suggest if someone's in excited delirium, draw up 4 and shoot them in the glute with it. It's a lot quicker, a lot easier, okay, than having to try to hold somebody down already and give them 2 shots. Pay attention to the pearls, obviously, for this dissociation syndrome. If the patient does hallucinate, again, you can consider Versed. I promise you, when you guys give it for excited delirium at 400 milligrams IM, give it about 3.5 minutes and they're going to start drooling and they'll just be off in space. Be the calmest patients you ever had. Used to be that the state required that there was 2 paramedics in the back of an ambulance to administer ketamine. That is no longer a thing. Does not require that, so 1 paramedic can administer ketamine without a second paramedic. Okay. All right, pain management. All right. There's a whole lot going on here. I'm gonna show you the easiest way to do this, and I've made a cheat sheet for you. They're gonna all be in the NARC boxes, okay? So 0.2 milligrams of ketamine, you're gonna put that in a 50 to 250 milliliter bag of normal saline, or D5, not D10. Make sure you don't get them mixed up. My suggestion is to use the 100 bag of D5. Okay, it's the easiest thing to do. The smaller the bag, the better the pain management is. So that's why I said I would use the 100 bag. Maximum dose of ketamine is gonna be a total of 20 milligrams. You'll understand that here in a minute. The way you're gonna have to do this, okay? You're going to have to pull 1 cc of ketamine into a 10 cc syringe, okay? You're gonna fill the 9 cc's with saline. So it's gonna be a 10 milligram per ml concentration. Does that make sense? Everybody tracking so far? Okay. It's gonna be real hard just to pull one. Again, remember I told you you're gonna waste a lot of ketamine, right? So pull enough ketamine up in a syringe and then pull your saline up. If you pull more than 1 cc, it's okay. Okay, you'll squirt it back out and get to your 1 cc. Does that make sense? That way you're not trying to get that fine adjustment. Pour more than you need, push what you don't need. It'll be fine. Should be able to correctly determine the dosing after that. So a drip is going to be over 10 minutes. May repeat in 30 minutes as needed. Here's your cheat sheet. Okay, this will be in all the ambulances. So a 50 kilogram patient will receive 10 milligrams of ketamine. It's 1 ml of ketamine.
So
Right.
instead of, okay, I see what you're saying now, as far as, because that vial is set to 500.
Yes,
Five.
we have to make it a 10 to 1.
Gotcha, okay.
Basically, you're making a new vial of ketamine and
If we get a 10
in the
to 1,
syringe.
it's gonna be like, it's gonna be huge.
There's no way to draw up. You could probably draw up 1.1 in a syringe, but it's real hard.
Right.
So that's why we're doing it in the other one. So we made it real simple for you guys, real easy. 50 kilogram patients, 100-pound patient, right? Roughly 1 ml. Okay, little grandma that might weigh less than that, she's gonna get 1 ml. Okay, again, it's still only approved for adults 18 and older. Okay, no children right now. Max dose will be 100 kilogram patient, so 20 milligrams. If they weigh over 200 pounds, you're gonna get the max dose of 20. Easiest way to do this, again, you're gonna draw up 2 mLs in the syringe, and you would have 8 cc's of fluid. Does that make sense? Then you take that, you squirt that into your 100 bag of D5, run it over 10 minutes, and it'll start working with the pain, just monitor the patient. Okay?
Wait, I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're gonna take 2 mLs and you're gonna mix it with saline in the syringe, and then you're gonna put the syringe in
You got
the bag,
it. And run it over 10 minutes.
so you don't just shoot the.
Because you would sit there to be able to do it over 10 minutes, it'd take too much time. Just put it on 15 drops, set and run it. Over 10 minutes. Make sense? Yeah. So same thing we used to do with or same thing you do with like an Amidrip, or how we used to do with
TXA.
Cardizem, TXA. But perfect example, TXA same way. So you just do it the same way. But again, I made this easy for you guys. I think Brian Hill's the one that actually developed this, but we cut it down Barney style so you don't have to do any math in your head. You'll pull out, there'll be a ketamine card inside the NARC box for when you're giving it for pain. You pull this out, you look at it, draw it up, put your card back in, okay? I'm also going to print this, and above it, the instructions on a piece of paper. I'm gonna get it printed on nice paper, and that's gonna go, I'm gonna give everybody a copy, and it's gonna be on all the trucks. It's gonna go behind the pain management protocol, so that way when you flip, you have a quick reference guide, okay? So it'll be in 2 places. All right, as of right now, morphine is still the preferred first line pain management, okay? The order that it's gonna go, morphine, Dilaudid, then ketamine. A lot of people are gonna sit here right now, just like Nick just did, and get frustrated. Why can't I just choose to give what I can? Guarantee you give ketamine more often than you're gonna give the other 2. For the simple fact is most of the time, they're your trauma patients. Blood pressure is low. Can't give them morphine, can't give them Dilaudid, but I can give them ketamine. Okay? So, Right now, ketamine is third line. I am currently working with the other training officers to get Harmony to allow us to just choose which pain management we would like to use. I'm hoping that'll change to where we can just say, hey, give whatever you want for that patient based on how you feel. I think that's how it should be, but again, work in progress, right? Baby steps. We got ketamine, now we work on the rest.
So ketamine's third line, is it gonna be in the protocol like morphine or?
It's currently in the, I
or
believe,
Dilaudid?
oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, we have that discretion whenever they're hypertensive and,
exactly.
okay.
So the nice thing is what it says right here. Patient's hemodynamically unstable. Obviously, we give a fluid bolus, right? I'll know after about 200 cc's of fluid if their pressure's gonna come up or not. That's safe to say? Everybody can agree with that? Pressure does normalize? Yeah, give them morphine. If it doesn't normalize, ketamine. Okay? So that's why I said, I think you're gonna start to give ketamine a lot more often on those patients that are blood pressure is extremely low, they're allergic to, if they're allergic to morphine, go straight to ketamine. You can do that. These are the pocket cards I will show you. So again, everybody will get one of these. Ignore it, it's just multiple cards. We're just gonna have one card. So that's gonna be your ketamine dose. Once I print that, I'm gonna flip them around, I'll write on the back, draw up your mLs, put the rest in saline, mix it in the bag. Okay. What questions do we have? That's it.
So for post-innovation management,
Yes.
is this gonna take the place of morphine? Or is it gonna be morphine versus ketamine and paralytic?
You choose what you want.
Okay, so it's gonna be, okay. we're gonna have that.
Yeah, choose what you want.
But you still need to be giving those people, you still understand if this is a post-innovation, all right? These people still need to be sedated, and they need to have pain management on board, okay?
Yes.
All right? They might not be able to move, they may not be able to talk, but they still feel pain.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Absolutely.
And that, from what I understand, that tube is very irritating.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so give them some pain management, give them some morphine, give them some ketamine,
There was
give them some that.
one the other day, I think it might have been C shift, correct me if I'm wrong, they had a
B
patient
shift.
intubated, B shift,
Woke up, tried to pull.
woke up, tried to pull the tube out, perfect, ketamine would work great for him.
Yeah,
Also, they're combative, you can still give ketamine for post-innovation, and if they're still combative like that, give them Versed. Okay, we're gonna be bagging these patients, so we're not too concerned with the fact if we snow them or not, because we're holding their airway.
if they're.
Don't be
if
scared,
they're-
don't be scared of a paralytic either.
Yeah, if.
No, absolutely not.
What, that paralytic sitting in that bag, well,
You can use it for
Use it.
post-innovation.
if you got somebody, bucking a tube going down the road,
I would give them back.
give them back. Okay,
That's great.
it works wonderful.
Everybody's doing a fantastic job. I've had crews that have some serious patients they've been using Chatham Hospital when they don't think they can make it to UNC. That's a terrific idea. I'd much rather you pull in there and stabilize a patient than try to cowboy it all the way to UNC sometimes, okay? Sometimes you're all pretty far out there, so great job on that. Everybody's doing a fantastic job. I will tell you this, Duke University is doing a 5-year cardiac arrest data study. Chatham County is one of their main locations that they're gonna be operating out of because we have one of the highest saves percentages. We're, I think, 5 or 6% above the national average. A lot of that I contribute to you guys doing good pit crew CPR like you're supposed to, waiting the 10 minutes on scene after you obtain ROSC. That is very important. Dr. Harmony has already came out and said there's another area that is not doing that like we have put in place. He has now said that if you don't wait your 10 minutes, it is a clinical strike for protocol deviation. So, not to threaten you guys, not worried about you guys are doing a terrific job with cardiac arrest. Also do know, Sheriff's Department's looking at putting AEDs on all the sheriff's vehicles. We're fortunate that we have the first responders show up that we do. You know, they're pretty beneficial, thanks to Pee Wee and some of the other people that teach at the college. I know Nick, them all being up to speed on pit crew also helps us as well, because everybody knows their role when you get there. Trying to think.
Well, that's what I last night. I had first responders with 3 trucks, will come on with CPR.
Trying to think, I had something else.
had supervisor 3 ambulances and a, squad truck.
Supervisor didn't do much.
We know,
He did a fantastic job, thank you.
fantastic job walking around.
Hey, somebody's got a supervisor. So,
Like a state crew.
um,
If I work it, somebody stand outside the hall watching.
I didn't have no blister.
oh, Autopulse. Autopulse is being budgeted for next year.
Yay.
Okay. Ideally, I'd love to have one on every truck. We know it's not gonna happen.
Can we at least have one on the east side, one on the west
We
side?
get 4.
Hey, I'm
The
ready.
goal, I think, is 4. And there will be one in Golston, one in Tyler City,
Mhm.
one in Pittsburgh, and one in North Chatham. So that spreads them out straight across the county. The one here and the one in Tyler City, if the Tyler City crew drives off, goes to a cardiac arrest, the next truck can bring it if we need it. Let's say they didn't know it was cardiac arrest and they arrested, okay? So, if we only get 2, they'd be here and Tyler City. Okay.
Yeah, we had one yesterday.
But I don't have anything else. This is what was mainly needed to cover today. Thank you all for getting your protocol test done. Dr. Harmony spoke very highly of that. We had great scores on our protocol test. We also had a terrific turnout for skills. You guys did, you came in, you got it done, and you guys all did a fantastic job. The other training officers that tested you guys spoke very highly of you and how well you guys did. So,
Has everybody taken
proud of all you
PHTLS
for that.
test?
Huh?
Has everybody taken PHTLS test?
Everybody that completed the PHTLS is completed, and have all passed their exam. So all they have to do is get the card should be coming in. Brian Haley's dealing with that. Any questions? Any ideas? Anything y'all wanna talk about?
Can you send that in an email?
Yes, I'm gonna send that PowerPoint and both of those, I'm gonna send them to Chatham and that's all.
Okay.
I just wanted to wait until we completed this and then I'm gonna send it to everybody, but you'll have it. Any questions?
Now's the time, y'all all the time talking about something. Now's the time.
Anything you wanna see, anything you wanna change, any ideas, look, I'm your advocate, I promise you, everything you bring to me, I take up the chain and I fight for it as much as I can. Prime
Hey.
example, let me give you a prime example. Corey Barr is the reason we got Samson. He brought it to me, it was a great idea, I ran it up the chain, Dr. Harmon said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, we've got a whole waste of other stuff and now we have them.
Hey, everybody meet Carson Garner.
Hello, Claire.
He's our new ENT.
Welcome.
He's gonna be here a little sporadic here the next couple months, but we're gonna latch on to him hard in July, okay? Alright, so, when we get everything figured out, I'll get him 2